everyone is going to suffer. But here's the saddest part about all of that. Republicans know that climate change is serious. They know that it's caused by humans and that it's wreaking havoc on our economy and our planet. But their re-election campaigns are paid by the fossil fuel companies that stand to lose business if we shift to renewables. That's all. It's not rocket science. In the last general election, 19 of the top 20 recipients of oil and gas money in the Senate were Republicans. And 20 out of the top 20 recipients of oil and gas money in the House were also Republicans. The GOP is not acting on behalf of their constituents. They're acting on behalf of themselves. And instead of governing when the effects of climate change are costing our country billions of dollars and actual human lives, they stick to the same tired script of decrying socialism or saying that Democrats are for post-birth abortion or whatever BS lie they're feeding to their low information base. But the reality is that the majority of Americans do support a Green New Deal, including 92% of Democrats and 64% of Republicans. So at this point, Republicans who pivot to cow farts and eliminating airplanes as some desperate excuse to oppose the legislation are not only fooling themselves, but disregarding the will of the people they're supposed to be representing. And of course, the effects of climate change are going to cost more as the situation becomes more dire. That's not to say it won't be expensive, but more expensive than $160 billion to clean up after Hurricane Katrina, and $125 billion after Harvey, and $70 billion after Sandy, and $50 billion after Irma, and $25 billion after Ike. And none of that was investment. That was all just to get back to zero. That was just to repair damage. And it's going to keep happening, and it's going to get worse. Because all of those storms were within the last 2 decades, and all were the costliest in American history. Something that everyone can agree on is that Americans want cheaper, cleaner energy. And it's ours from the taking, but pretending that spending even a dime to get there is out of the question, how could we possibly afford such a thing, would get you a C- in any basic economics class. If you don't pay to invest in new technology and energy sources, you won't be able to take advantage of them. Period. Imagine if Apple made the iPod and then never took another step forward because everything beyond that was just a little too pricey. Representative Kasten explains the phenomenon easily.
I feel like I need to explain something that I'm shocked that this has to be explained. We are on the Financial Services Committee, and I'm trying to figure out whether people understand the difference between a capital expense and an operating expense. If you spend less money on energy, you save money. This is not complicated. Nobody gives fuel away for free. If you want to spend less money on energy, you're going to have to invest in capital that lowers the cost of energy. I've done that over the course of my career to the tune of about $200 million. If you need explanation, come and meet me. I would love to work with you on the Select Climate Committee because we have an opportunity to invest in our country and make us wealthier and make us cleaner. Those two things are not in conflict unless you don't understand the difference between a capital expense and an operating expense. So if you have committed your career in this body or otherwise to making our country wealthier and cleaner, God bless you. If you have committed your career to blocking investments in energy efficiency, to intentionally confusing different types of expenses to make our economy dirtier and less competitive, shame on you.
I mean, come on. Republicans are supposed to be the self-described quote-unquote capitalists here. But of course it's impossible to reconcile the flaws in their argument because, again,